Healthcare workers across California take it to the picket lines, demanding better wages and patient care.
San Bernardino County ranks first for worst air quality, how Fontana's warehouses are contributing to the crisis.
13,000-year-old oak tree at risk, Jurupa Valley residents fight to save the historic Jurupa oak.
A popular hiking spot trail sparks safety concerns over parking and accessibility in Corona.
A bomb scare causes chaos at Tacoma International Airport. Travelers face hours of delays.
And now, CBU nursing students are using cutting-edge technology to prepare for real-world medical challenges.
Hi everyone and welcome to CBU TV. I'm Noemi Solorzano.
And I'm Zach Ibarra. We're so glad you're joining us today. We've got a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. Healthcare workers across the state are making their voices heard. The National Union of Healthcare Workers is on strike against Kaiser Permanente. Workers are demanding increased wages and improved patient care.
This strike comes amid reports of staff shortages and heavy workloads in hospitals. Union leaders say these conditions are unsustainable for both staff and patients. Our very own Zach Ibarra was able to bring us the full story.
Kaiser Permanente has been a long-standing medical institution here in Southern California for the past several decades. And now they face off against some of their mental health workers as they unionized on September 30th. Now, I've talked to some of the folks here on the picketing lines, and they mentioned to me that this has been going on for about 5 weeks of both picketing and negotiations. So let's take a look and see what they have to say. Kaiser Permanente and the NUHW have been going at it at the bargaining table, and one union rep has clarified that they have valid reasons for unionizing against the largest nonprofit healthcare organization in the country.
You're out here fighting for improving quality patient care, which includes access to return appointments, as well as time to do quality patient care things, and that includes the time management. So we're fighting for improving patient care, and then we're also fighting for improved wages. We're trying to fight to get our pension back.
These mental health workers want to remind people that patient care is a high priority for why things have gotten to this point, and explain how Kaiser is pushing back.
So we work with patients who are here because for a million different reasons as far as mental health, right? So they could be depressed, they could have extreme anxiety, whatever the case may be. But it's very important for them to have timely access to return appointments. So the issue with Kaiser is not necessarily their first appointment, their assessment. They usually get a pretty quick with that. It's the turnaround time for them to go to have that regular routine therapy with their therapist to work on those techniques to resolve those symptoms and those issues that they came for. That Kaiser's really, they're not doing well with that returns.
Workers also want a sense of fairness when their counterparts in places like Northern California and Hawaii are receiving a higher level of benefits.
The pay is unfair compared to what the wages are in Northern California. So we are just asking for the same fair contract that our Northern California reps have. And that includes a pension, better pay, and more time for our quality care for our patients.
Now, Kaiser Permanente says they are committed to getting a deal done with the National Union of Healthcare Workers. In fact, in a recent statement, they suggested some of their counterproposals to the NUHW. This includes things like improved bilingual differential, precipitator pay, which is an additional $1.25 per hour, educational leave, and tuition reimbursement. So hopefully this situation can get resolved quickly, as no one wants to see healthcare workers out of the workforce. For CBU TV, I'm Zach Ibarra.
Now, to a local environmental crisis that has many residents concerned. San Bernardino County has been ranked first in the nation for worst air quality. Noemi investigates how the influx of warehouses is contributing to this issue.
One more time.
For Jasmine Marroquin, a Fontana resident, using these inhalers on her children has become a routine.
He would have a hard time catching his breath when he would run or when he would walk. Doctors didn't really give us definite answer of what was the cause.
Amidst the unanswered questions, the American Lung Association says the population in San Bernardino County is continuously more at risk for illnesses and diseases like asthma. San Bernardino County was ranked number 1 as the most polluted place to live in the country. For the last several years, they were given a failing grade for the state of their air. In an 80-page analysis, the county reported that standard measure of particulate matter, or PM, shouldn't exceed past 10 microns. In the last years, Fontana recorded on some days their PM exceeding past 60. Ana Gonzalez is the executive director for CCAEG, a nonprofit organization striving to inform San Bernardino communities about environmental issues. She says Fontana is in a deep air crisis, and its warehouses are to blame.
But we are seeing more levels of PM and ozone pollution in the cities of Ontario, Fontana, Colton, Rialto, and San Bernardino. And the reason for that is because of our geography, result of more than 60,000 truck trips a day that we get from the ports and all the goods movement industry that are coming to our region.
In 2010, Fontana saw a boom in the warehouse industry, housing companies like Target, Amazon, FedEx, and Smart & Final for production. It's in residential neighborhoods like this that are having warehouses being built right into their backyards, and some residents are saying they're fed up.
I have a concern with that, a big concern. I also have a concern with the height, because I would hate to think that I've lived in my house for 19 or 20 years and I can no longer see the sunset.
Jonathan Gonzalez, a Fontana resident, says these warehouses are typically approved by local officials, and it's up to the community to make a change.
It's hard, and I know you might feel like there's nothing you can do about it, but apathy is a tool of the ruling class. That's how you're supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel like you can't do anything about it. But if we were able to mobilize and just be more engaged in our local election process, I think we would see a lot of change. We will begin to see a lot of change.
In Fontana, for CBU TV, Noemi Solorzano.
Staying on environmental news, a 13,000-year-old oak tree in Jurupa Valley is at the center of a heated preservation battle. Being the third oldest tree on Earth, the Rio Vista project is threatening this historic tree. Our investigative reporter, Johaidi Howdigi, has the details.
Today I'm on the corner of El Ravino and Cactus Avenue here in Rubidoux, which is located in Jurupa Valley, California. Behind me, you see the Jurupa Mountains. There lies the Jurupa oak, a 13,000-year-old tree whose life is now in danger.
It's a species of Palmer's oak. It's Quercus palmeri. And if you travel anywhere in the Santa Ana River watershed, including the mountains, you're not going to find another member of that species.
The Rio Vista project poses a significant threat to the historic tree. The proposed development spans roughly 370 acres and includes residential housing, an elementary school, a business park, and industrial buildings. While the plan would preserve the tree on a 27-acre rocky outcrop, construction would still encroach within 400 feet of it. This isn't the first time this project has been proposed. It has been an ongoing discussion since the 1990s.
They did not look at its potential connection to groundwater. They didn't look at the potential extent of the oak's root system. They actually concluded on just the science that was done here by the environmental consultants is just, if it's not dishonest, it's just outright fraud, in my opinion. They looked at other kinds of scrub oak that aren't a 13,000-year-old oak, and they looked at the known literature about the root systems of those things and just concluded, or rather asserted, that the root system was 30 feet in length.
After a 5-hour-long city council meeting on September 5th, with the vote being 4-2 in favor of updating the Rio Vista plan, this delays the project. But up to how long? City council members asked for more studies to be done on the potential impacts of the plan.
It just sends me, it's really like, it seems like a slap in the face to our Rubidoux and kind of that community. I don't know, what do you have to say about that?
I understand your position, and I'd say that a couple of things. One is, they're not the trucks that you mentioned. These are smaller trucks as well. So you're bringing everything and calling them semi trucks. That's not at all what's being proposed.
But have you
this is an
applied
example
for? Have you let us know what types of trucks are going to be exactly?
Yeah.
City Council member Armando Carmona was one of the 2 members who voted against the project.
The difference between this new proposal is that it has a massive rezoning specifically for what they call light industrial uses, that where warehouses are you're able to build warehouses in layman terms, right? So people understand, like, you can build warehouses, and that proposal, the one that was voted on, would allow for over 800 trucks a day to pass through those streets in that community.
The Center for Biological Diversity also spoke out in a press release, claiming how the Harupa oak not only has historical value, but cultural as well.
As of now, all that we know is that a litigation has been put in place. Currently, there are people fighting still for this 13,000-year-old oak tree. The litigation is why we couldn't actually go to the Harupa Mountains and go see the Harupa oak for ourselves. For investigative reporting, this is Johaidi Jauregui.
Now heading to the city of Corona, where a popular hiking spot is causing controversy. Skyline Drive Trail is known for its beautiful views, but recently, parking and safety concerns have become a growing issue for both residents and hikers. Grace Boudreau has the full story.
Skyline Drive in Riverside County is one of the most popular hiking trails in the area. But as more people come to its scenic views, concerns are growing about safety, accessibility, and the strain on local infrastructure. Today, we investigate challenges facing hikers and the community. From rugged terrain to spotty cell service, Skyline Drive presents unique challenges to even the most experienced hikers. I spoke with Lauren Janetsky, a local hiker who shared her experiences navigating these difficulties.
I've been caught at Skyline unprepared before, so now I prepare. So I take water and also my cell phone because there is spotty reception.
Yeah.
And I always make sure that I have good shoes on.
Lauren recalled one hike where a lack of preparation turned into a dangerous situation.
It was super hot outside. It was probably like 95 that day. It was hot. And we didn't have enough water. There's no shade, so it's totally exposed. And so my preparations weren't the best.
Another major concern is parking. The limited spaces near the trailhead have frustrated both residents and visitors, forcing hikers to park far away and walk to the trailhead. Lauren has witnessed firsthand the issues this creates.
The parking is terrible, and there's also a huge chance that you are going to get, what's it called when they break in your window and they steal stuff out of your car? That happens to a lot of people who I've talked to.
Lauren believes these parking issues could be alleviated with some creative solutions.
If they allowed you to go down the road and park in a dirt parking lot at the end of the first corner, that would be awesome.
Yeah. City officials are aware of these issues. Robert Boggs, a Parks and Recreation Commissioner for the City of Corona, says efforts are being made to address parking and other concerns.
Challenges are just parking along Foothill. So I know that something that's being addressed. So there is parking, but it is like considerable ways away.
As for the safety risk posed by spotty cell service, Boggs says hikers must take personal responsibility when entering the national forest.
But I would imagine if you're back in the national forest, it might be spotty. But I think that is the risk that hikers take, and that's an assumed risk when anyone is going out into the national forest.
Despite these obstacles, Skyline Drive remains a beloved part of the community, something Boggs sees as a point of pride for Corona.
I think the trails it's a nice added feature or bonus here in the city of Corona. Not a lot of cities has, a national forest in our backyard that we can also make use of. So
Skyline Drive offers breathtaking views and a chance to connect with nature, but its growing popularity highlights the need for better safety measures and infrastructure. The question now is whether officials will rise to meet these challenges. For CBU TV, I am Grace Boudreau.
Turning to national news, travelers at Tacoma International Airport in Seattle experienced a chaotic scene when a bomb threat caused delays at a baggage claim. Brett Rosen has the details.
Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, about 40 minutes outside downtown Seattle, Washington, was delayed over a possible bomb threat. As you can see right behind me, police officers are just now wrapping up what was a hostage situation. People from the airport were delayed with their baggage claims, as well as getting in and outside the airport. I got the pleasure of asking one of the people getting out of the airport about his frustrations with this possible bomb threat, and also what other people are talking about around the area.
So me and all these people flew in here this afternoon. we got stopped. We were going to get our baggage, and the bomb squad rolled up immediately. They cleared everybody out. Everybody had been sitting there waiting. And we've heard a couple of charges where they've tried to blow up the suspicious package. And so, yeah, everybody's waiting. The traffic is stopped. And we've been told that these things happen periodically, and they'll take an hour or two to resolve.
With every ticking second that people were not able to get their bags from baggage claim due to the apparent bomb threat, the overall consensus was frustration.
We're paying attention to the bomb squad over here to get any indication of when they're wrapping it up. But we're going on an hour here now, and everybody's getting kind of impatient to get their bags.
With very few details coming from law enforcement, many just had to piece together details little by little.
It was a suspicious item that was in a garbage can next to Carousel 6, right outside of where the baggage office is for Delta Airlines. So we pieced that together from what few people said.
Well, as it turns out, it was just another false alarm, as there was no bomb threat at Tacoma Airport. And after a few hours, people were able to finally grab their bags from baggage claim and get on with their day. This is just another prime example. If you're in an open and crowded area, just stay alert and be on the lookout for anything suspicious. For CBU TV, I am Brett Rosen.
On a lighter note, we turn to CBU's nursing program, where the students are training with some of the most advanced technology in the field. Our reporter, Amber French, takes us inside the simulation lab.
We're outside of the CBU College of Nursing, a competitive program at CBU that prepares nurses to serve others as Jesus would. Within the program, nurses work in simulation labs with human-like mannequins. We wanted to find out more about these mannequins within these labs. Let's take a look.
My tummy hurts. So we have so many different kinds of mannequins here. We have mannequins from Laerdal, we have mannequins from Gamard. We even have what we call hybrid task trainer mannequins from a company called Avkin. And the mannequins, they range from low fidelity, meaning they are not as realistic in terms of, some of them have full computers inside of them. So they even put out CO2. You can do all sorts of procedures on them. They give, real-time responses. In my shoulder. We have a mannequin that gives birth. So those are more high fidelity. Our low fidelity is more for skills and things like NG tubes or putting in Foleys or sometimes doing IVs. So we've got a wide range.
She explains when in the program nurses can start using the mannequins.
Right away, day one. So they do something called Open Skills Lab where they're working with a lot of these mannequins. They're doing simulation in their very first semester. But in Open Skills Lab, they can use any of the resources that we have in the building.
Lastly, she tells us important information about the simulation program.
So our simulation program is a fully accredited simulation program. So students get to come and they get to be in an environment that simulates whatever clinical environment that they're going to be going into. So for example, if they're going into med-surg, it's going to simulate what that's going to look like, a hospital type setting. If it's community health, they're going to go into an apartment that we build in this room right here. And they are going to interact with actors, mannequins in that more hybrid simulation. And it allows them to make mistakes here and not with real patients. And then they get feedback on those mistakes. They get to ask questions, they get to reflect, they get to watch their own video, and then they get to try again before they actually go out and work with patients a lot of time in those specific settings. So it's a really wonderful way to learn, and we, as I said, are fully accredited, and so we do it very well.
It was great hearing from Dr. Pierce about what CBU Nursing offers within their simulation labs. With CBU TV, I'm Amber French.
That sounds amazing, Amber. It's great to see our students preparing for the future with such cutting-edge tools. Now, for us at the news desk, everything good must come to an end, right, Noemi? And that's the plan here for us as graduating seniors here at CBU. We have an enjoyable time here at LMG, working for some incredible people, but now we have to say goodbye.
Yeah, Zach, and as we graduate, we just want to thank our professors and our advisors and all the friends we made along the way. And we can't wait to see you soon. Well, Zach, for the last time, that's all we have for today's show. Make sure to follow us on social media for more updates and stories.
And until next time, take care, stay safe, have a happy holiday season, and Merry Christmas.